Hi tech lovers, welcome back to Fast Cabling. So last time we helped our client keep an eye on his cattle barn from miles away. The system was perfect. Then his phone call hits our desk. Hi Fast Cabling crew, what if I need to see something further, way further, like a new camera 1.5 kilometers out? Problem. Our best 16-port long-range switch, it taps out way before that. This was a potential disaster, a total system redesign. But then, remember the secret weapon hidden on our original switch? The two little ports labeled SFP combo. Now these tiny doors were the tickets out of this mess, and our client didn't need to change his core system at all. So the solution? Run a single thin thread of lights to that distance camera. A fiber optic cable. Now think of fiber as an ultimate data superhighway. For distance is king. Copper cables, they're like shouting the signal and it gets weak over long distances. Fiber is like shining a perfect focused laser beam. It lasts at 1.5 kilometers and is immune to electromagnetic interference, so it's perfect for our outdoor long distance run. But here's the catch, the one big flaw in this perfect plan. Fiber sends only light, not electricity, so it cannot power our camera. So our simple cable run suddenly had a power problem. And that splits our mission into two very different paths. So path 1, the easy route. Let's say luck is on our side, and there's power out there at the distance camera spot. Our job is simple. We just need a translator that speaks both fiber lights and camera electricity. And that's this, our outdoor PoE media converter. Now this box is the hero at the end of the line. The fiber cable plugs into its SFP slot. Now it translates the light signal back to data. So let's get our fiber optic cable. This is our pre-made 2-string fiber optic cable. It has label on each string. It's single mode LC connector. Since it's pre-made, so we just plug and play. No need to worry about anything. Let's use string A. Then we need this SFP transceiver. This is where we connect to the fiber optic cable. And we can choose the transceiver based on the distance and the bandwidth you need. And let's slide it into the SFP slot. And you can hear a click sound. Now, the superpower. It has a PoE port. That means it takes the local AC power and send both power and data up a single network cable. So I'm getting this Ethernet cable connect to its PoE port, sends both power and data to the bullet camera. Now this thing is hardened IP67 waterproof rated, so it's perfect for our outdoor use. Now problem solved. Let's follow our fiber optic cable, connect it back to our main switch. In our last video, we talked about the combo port. When we're using this port, we cannot use this SFP slot. So now we can use this one here because it's combined with the port 17. Remember, we used string A, plug in the SFP transceiver and our fiber optic cable. The Ethernet cable is connected to the Ethernet port and to our client's network video recorder. So now we get the live video feed. So path 2, the off-grid adventure, the more fun scenario, and the one our client actually faced. The perfect camera spot has no power lines for miles. The first tempting wrong idea, some people would just strap a solar panel directly to the camera. Don't do this. It's like trying to drink from a fire hose. Solar panel output is wild. Surges in bright sun, nothing at night. So you'll fry your gear or starve it. That's why you need a buffer. a system. Now picture this system as a miniature water network for power. The solar panel is the dam. It doesn't store power. It captures the raw flow of energy from the sun, just like a dam captures river water. And the battery is the reservoir. This is your storage. All the water, the power, collected by our solar panel flows down and fills up for later use. Last one is our charge controller. This is the entire water management authority. It's the smart system of gates and sensors. It does 3 critical jobs. It controls how fast the dam fills the reservoir, regulating charge currents. It has an overflow spillway to prevent the reservoir from flooding and breaking the overcharge protection. And it has a tap-it control to send water to the town, which is our bullets camera. So connecting it is like building this water network. We run the pipe from the dam to our management system. The manager now sends the water flow. So we can plug our solar panel into the charge controller first. We have positive and negative. All you need to do is push it all the way in until you hear a click sound. It's plug and play. All right. Then we connect the reservoir, which is our battery, to the manager, the charge controller. The system now knows how full the lake is. Let's get it in. And finally, the water doesn't float into our camera first, but to our outdoor media converter. Think of it as a versatile water pump. The great thing about this pump, it accepts a wide voltage range from 24 volt to 56 volt DC. Whether the reservoir is very full, high voltage, or getting lower voltage, this pump keeps working. So we connect the pump to the management system. Then the pump sends a steady stream of power through the Ethernet cable that also carries data directly to our camera. So now we can see we're having a live video feed. And we need to size the solar system for 4 to 5 days. Why? We are preparing for a drought. We need the reservoir big enough to keep the town supplied through several days with no rain. In our case, no sun. We have to size the solar panel to be large enough to refill the battery even during the cloudy days of the rainy season. But here's the final hard truth. You cannot beat physics. If the rainy season brings weeks of total gloom, even the best system would drain. Solar is a magic. It's a brilliant solution for remote spots, but it's a calculated bet against the weather. And now let's make this real with some example numbers. We're powering a standard bullet camera and an outdoor PoE media converter. So first we need to know the daily power consumption. And let's budget a total of about 20 watts for the whole system to be safe. Now daily watt hours needed is 20 watts and running 24 hours a day. So 20 times 24 equals 480 watt hours. And that's the amount of energy the camera system needed every day. Second, we size the battery. Our rule is to survive 5 days without sun. So we need a battery that can store 5 days of energy. Total storage needed would be 480 watt hours per day times 5 days, that's 2,400 watt hour. According for reality, we cannot drain a battery to zero. Also, the system isn't 100% efficient. So let's factor in about 80% efficiency. So we look for a 24 volt 200 amp deep cycle battery. And third, we size the solar panel. We need a panel to cover daily use, even during the rainy season when the sunlight is poor. So for the final panel choice, we will install at least a 500-watt solar panel to have a safe margin. And for our example system, the blueprint looks like this. A 300-watt solar panel to capture weak rainy season sun, and a 24-volt 200-amp deep cycle battery as their energy reservoir, a suitable charge controller, likely a smart MPPT type to manage it all. So this setup gives the camera a fighting chance through a week of gloom, turning sunlight into a watchful eye. No power lines needed. For our client, the math worked. His new camera, 1.5 kilometers out, now watches over the farthest reach, powered by sunlight connected by a thread of lights. Now, sometimes the solution isn't replacing what you have. It's about finding the right bridge, and in this case, the right cable and a self-sufficient solar system to get you where you need to go. Thank you very much for joining us. Feel free to tell us about your challenge in the comment section below, and I'll see you in our next video.